Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. If you are not thinking, then what are you? In this video, I'm going to dive into Zen Master Seung's Zen Circle and explore the 5 states of mind. I'll break down what they mean and how this Zen Circle can bring more clarity, not just to meditation practice, but for your everyday life. Hello everyone, it's Jason, and I'm here answering your questions about Zen, meditation, life, your practice, any kind of question. Today's question is about the Zen Circle. This is a teaching from Zen Master Seung. Let me read this question for you. Hey Jason, I recently came across the Zen Circle in Zen Master Seung's book, Dropping Ashes on the Buddha. I'm still not quite sure what it means. Is it meant to represent a progression in practice? And how might it apply to everyday life? If you're not familiar with the Zen Circle, you can find it in the book Dropping Ashes on the Buddha. It also appears in the book Compass of Zen, which goes into much more detail. I know when I first saw the Zen Circle, I also thought it was a progression. You start at the beginning point, you do your practice, and you progress until you get to the very end. But it's actually not like that. It's just pointing to different states of mind, which I found very helpful in my meditation practice. And it really doesn't matter what you practice. Spiritual practices will point to one or more of these 5 states of mind. I found it really helpful in my everyday life, meaning how am I keeping my mind right now in this moment? So let's dive into the first state of mind. So here's the original Zen Circle created by Zen Master Seung. I recreated the Zen Circle just to make it more simple for this video. If we start at the beginning, 0 degrees. This is what Zen Master Seung called small I. This is attachment to name and form. This is a mind that clings and grasps to name and form. If I told you a name of a certain political party, you're going to hear that name and give it some meaning. And if you hold on to it, we call it attachment, then perhaps some strong thoughts and feelings will appear in your mind. If I mention the name of a certain group of people from a certain part of the world, you will hear that name, and if you hold on to it, strong thoughts and feelings will appear. And the problem is, if we grasp and cling, then our mind becomes very narrow, becomes very tight, and our life becomes very confusing and frustrating. Another thing we do is grasp and cling to form. I remember my first car, it was a 68 Pontiac Firebird. I bought it very cheap and completely restored it. And I was always afraid something was going to happen to it. And there was one time where I was visiting a friend. And as I was leaving my friend's apartment, I was backing out of the parking lot. And as I was backing out of the parking lot, I hit a pole and it completely scratched and dented my car. I was upset for a very long time. So many of us attach to form. We get something and we're afraid something's going to happen to it or we're going to lose it. In fact, I always say there's not one thing in this world that we can keep. And look at our body. We also hold on and attach and cling to our own body. And we all know that soon this body will die. So one thing that I found helpful is just not holding or grasping name and form. We can use name and form in our lives to make our lives clear, but also be more helpful for this world. The second state of mind, which is 90 degrees on the Zen circle, is called karma I. This is attachment to thinking. Another way of talking about this is attachment to understanding. Philosophers are pointing to this state of mind. There are some Buddhist and Zen scholars who live in this realm of understanding. You know, there's this teaching that everything appears in this world, stays for some time, and then disappears. You know, this understanding could give us a sense of cause and effect and why we are dissatisfied as human beings. You know, there's a teaching in the Heart Sutra, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. So I can explain it to give you some understanding. So if you have a tree, we give this tree a name and it has form. Maybe I'm really attached to this tree. But what if I chop the tree down and cut it up into pieces? Is it still a tree? No, the name and form is empty. This emptiness has a new form. We call it logs. So what if I took these logs and set them on fire and burned it all the way down? Do we call it logs? No, the form is empty. This emptiness is now ashes. So again, this is just understanding so we can get a grip of cause and effect. Get a grip of human suffering. But it's really not enough. What's more important is attainment. You know, Descartes once said, I think, therefore I am. So if we create I, then we have you. Then we divided this whole world into opposites: good, bad, right, wrong, like, and dislike. This is a realm of human suffering. So what can we do? Perhaps we can take another step. The third state of mind, at 180 degrees on the Zen circle, is called nothing I. This is the attachment to emptiness. If you look around, there are a lot of ideas and opinions about emptiness. But how can that be? Emptiness, or true emptiness, is before ideas, before opinions. I just mentioned that Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. So I ask you, if you are not thinking, then what are you? You know, many spiritual traditions talk about becoming one, or how we are all connected. You are not separate from this world. These are good ideas and can give us some understanding. But how do we actually experience it? In Zen, there's many ways to express it. I'm going to give you a very simple demonstration. This stick, your mind, my mind, same or different? If you say the same, that's just understanding. If you say different, that's also understanding. So then what? At that moment, your mind, my mind, the stick, the sound, my kids in the next room are just one point. This does not have I or you, good or bad, right or wrong. And from my experience, realizing this point can open up our mind and give our lives more clarity and curiosity and give us more opportunities to navigate through this world. The fourth state of mind on the Zen circle is at 270 degrees. This is called freedom eye or attachment to freedom. I was watching my daughter play the other day, and it was very interesting. Her dolls were talking to each other, cars were flying through the sky, the animals were talking to each other. It's a very open and creative mind. Sometimes as adults, we lose this state of mind. We become very narrow and very tight. This freedom mind can also emphasize kind of magic, the magic realm. You know, people who can walk on hot coals, or maybe they can levitate, things like this. But another aspect, or the problem, if we attach to a freedom mind, this can be a problem. Because many people in this world today have a very strong attachment to the idea of freedom. I once read about a man who was in a subway and he was smoking a cigarette, and right by him there was a sign that said no smoking. So another man came and said, "Hey man, can't you read the sign? It says no smoking." And the man smoking said, "Hey, I'm free. I can do whatever I want." Then the other man said, "Oh yeah?" and punched the man who was smoking. And the man said, "Why did you just punch me?" And the other man said, "Well, I'm free to hit you." So again, as a practice, this state of mind can really help us get out of our tightness and where we are stuck, but we don't want to hold that experience. So we're going to move on to the last state of mind. The last point on this Zen circle is at 360 degrees. This is called Big I, no attachment thinking. So this is a state where our mind reflects the moment as it is. We're not adding our narrative to it. We're not taking anything away from this moment. We're just perceiving truth. We're not holding on to name and form or holding on to our understanding. We are using everything in this moment to respond to what's happening. When I read the story about the Buddha, I read that when he realized his enlightenment, he perceived the morning star, and his mind and the star were not separate. This experience of emptiness, or the experience before thinking. But he didn't stay there. He wanted to, at first, to remain in this bliss. But he got up from this Bodhi tree he was sitting under, and he taught for 49 years. So one way I like to think about it is before he started practicing, Buddha was very attached to name and form. Then he realized enlightenment and had this experience before name and form. Then he got up from this tree and used name and form to help this world. So this is the Zen circle, and remember that it's just a teaching tool. It really doesn't exist. but it can help us to see or to show us where we are stuck and maybe see where other traditions and practices are pointing to. But I think what's really the most important is to wake up from all of these states of mind and just become intimate with this very moment. See the truth in this very moment and respond with love and compassion. I hope this video was helpful. You can let me know by liking this video, share this video with someone, or put a comment down below. I also made a video called The 3 Levels of Zen, from understanding to living. I talk about some of the things that I mentioned today, but from a different perspective. I think it may be helpful. Okay, everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you very soon.